The greatest wealth is to live content with little. Courage is knowing what not to fear. At the touch of love, everyone becomes a poet. The first and greatest victory is to conquer yourself. Knowledge becomes evil if the aim is not virtuous. Wisdom alone is the science of other sciences. Love is the pursuit of the whole. We can easily forgive a child who is afraid of the dark. The real tragedy of life is when men are afraid of the light. Human behavior flows from three main sources: desire, emotion, and knowledge. There are three classes of men: lovers of wisdom, lovers of honor, and lovers of gain. Good actions give strength to ourselves and inspire good actions in others. The beginning is the most important part of the work. Do not train a child to learn by force or harshness, but direct them to it by what amuses their minds, so that you may be better able to discover with accuracy the peculiar bent of the genius of each. He who is not a good servant will not be a good master. Opinion is the medium between knowledge and ignorance. Necessity is the mother of invention. The direction in which education starts a man will determine his future in life. Wealth and poverty. One is the parent of luxury and indolence, and the other of meanness and viciousness, and both of discontent. There is no harm in repeating a good thing. Justice means minding your own business and not meddling with other men's concerns. The measure of a man is what he does with power. Ignorance, the root and the stem of every evil. Excess of liberty, whether it lies in state or individuals, seems only to pass into excess of slavery. To prefer evil to good is not in human nature, and when a man is compelled to choose one of two evils, no one will choose the greater when he might have the less. No man should bring children into the world who are unwilling to persevere to the end in their nature and education. A hero is born among 100, a wise man is found among 1,000, but an accomplished one might not be found even among 100,000 men. One of the penalties for refusing to participate in politics is that you end up being governed by your inferiors. You can discover more about a person in an hour of play than in a year of conversation. He who wishes to serve his country must have not only the power to think, but the will to act. The heaviest penalty for declining to rule is to be ruled by someone inferior to yourself. Good people do not need laws to tell them to act responsibly, while bad people will find a way around the laws. The madness of love is the greatest of heaven's blessings. Wealth is well known to be a great comforter. The soul takes nothing with her to the other world but her education and her culture. Beauty lies in the eyes of the beholder. Man is a being in search of meaning. The greatest privilege of a human life is to become a midwife to the awakening of the soul in another person. Rhetoric is the art of ruling the minds of men. Music is a moral law. It gives soul to the universe, wings to the mind, flight to the imagination, and charm and gaiety to life and to everything. A good decision is based on knowledge and not on numbers. The price good men pay for indifference to public affairs is to be ruled by evil men. No one ever teaches well who wants to teach, or governs well who wants to govern. The man who makes everything that leads to happiness depend upon himself, and not upon other men, has adopted the very best plan for living happily. Bodily exercise, when compulsory, does no harm to the body, but knowledge which is acquired under compulsion obtains no hold on the mind. The punishment which the wise suffer who refuse to take part in the government is to live under the government of worse men. There is in every one of us, even those who seem to be most moderate, a type of desire that is terrible, wild, and lawless. If women are expected to do the same work as men, we must teach them the same things. Life must be lived as play. He who commits injustice is ever made more wretched than he who suffers it. He who is only an athlete is too crude, too vulgar, too stupid to appreciate the really great and noble gifts of philosophy. To love rightly is to love what is orderly and beautiful in an educated and disciplined way. False words are not only evil in themselves, but they infect the soul with evil. The learning and knowledge that we have is, at the most, but little compared with that of which we are ignorant. This and no other is the root from which a tyrant springs. When he first appears, he is a protector. A house that has a library in it has a soul. Any man may easily do harm, but not every man can do good to another. The soul of man is immortal and imperishable. We do not learn, and what we call learning is only a process of recollection. When the mind is thinking, it is talking to itself. He who is of a calm and happy nature will hardly feel the pressure of age, but to him who is of an opposite disposition, youth and age are equally a burden. For a man to conquer himself is the first and noblest of all victories. The true creator is necessity, who is the mother of our invention. There are two things a person should never be angry at: what they can help and what they cannot. No one is a friend to his friend who does not love in return. The good is the beautiful. We are twice armed if we fight with faith. An empty vessel makes the loudest sound, so those that have the least wit are the greatest babblers. He who steals a little steals with the same wish as he who steals much, but with less power. Time is the moving image of eternity. He who does not desire power is fit to hold it. The excessive increase of anything often causes a reaction in the opposite direction. All men are by nature equal, made all of the same earth by one workman. A life without investigation is not worth living. No evil can happen to a good man either in life or after death. The human race is divided into two classes: those who go ahead and do something, and those who sit still and inquire, why wasn't it done the other way? Ignorance, the root and stem of all evil. All learning has an emotional base. Thinking, the talking of the soul with itself. Ideas are the source of all things. The most effective kind of education is that a child should play amongst lovely things. Courage is a kind of salvation. Knowledge is the food of the soul. The object of education is to teach us to love what is beautiful. When there is an income tax, the just man will pay more, and the unjust less on the same amount of income. A well-educated mind will always have more questions than answers. Music gives a soul to the universe, wings to the mind, flight to the imagination, and life to everything. When men speak ill of thee, live so as nobody may believe them. A wise man speaks because he has something to say, a fool because he has to say something. If a man neglects education, he walks lame to the end of his life. Knowledge which is acquired under compulsion obtains no hold on the mind. An unexamined life is not worth living.